Good afternoon. I want to say at the top that with respect to the Supreme Court decision on the President's executive order, the President was honored by the 9-0 decision that allows him to use an important tool to protect our nation's homeland. His number one responsibility as Commander-in-Chief is to keep the American people safe, and that's exactly what this executive order does. In terms of next steps, the government's reviewing the decision and determining how to proceed going forward. The decision obviously just came down a few hours ago, so we'll probably have further guidance for you as it becomes available.
I think one of the things that's notable about today's decision is that 6 of the 9 justices on the Supreme Court did decide that, at least temporarily, people who have a connection to the United States can come into the United States, and the travel ban will not be stopping them. And so that would include people like Dr. El-Sheikh, whose mother-in-law is still trying to seek entry into the United States, as well as people who are similarly situated to Dr. El-Sheikh. It also includes students at the University of Hawaii who have been accepted to UH. They are going to be allowed to come into the country and attend their classes just as they had hoped for. And it also means the people who work here, and so that would include people like the University of Hawaii faculty who had previously been concerned that they would not be allowed to leave and come back without a concern that they would be banned from coming back into the United States solely because of them coming from these 6 Muslim majority nations. And so that's always been our concern from the very beginning, is that we absolutely believe in the President's power to uphold national security, but he just needs to do so in a way that doesn't just discriminate against people simply because of their nation of origin or because of their religion. So that means 72 hours from, I guess, early this morning, then the travel ban will go into effect for people who have no connection to the United States who are from the 6 Muslim majority countries. Right. I'm not surprised by what they did, in the sense that I think they were trying to come up with some sort of compromise that would be in place between now and the time when the actual arguments get placed in front of them. I think that the way that they did it was there's certain phrases that's in the. It's not a long decision. It's only 16 pages, but I think there's certain phrases in there where they talk about how we're going to argue the merits later. We're going to talk about the constitutional argument or the immigration law argument later. But for now, we have to take into account the entire country and just kind of the arguments that are being raised by both sides. So what you do have is you have a unanimous decision saying, this is what we're going to do. We're going to say unanimously, if you have no ties to the United States, then you can't come in. But then in the meantime, then 6 of them are saying, but wait a second, we also want to point out that 6 of us are saying that if you do have a tie to the United States, such as you're a student or you're somebody who could work here, the scope could be as broad as somebody who's been invited to speak here or something like that. Really, people who want to travel here for some sort of United States connection, those people, according to the 6 justices, should be allowed to come in between now and the time that the arguments are made to the Supreme Court.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Let's start with the Supreme Court order from yesterday.
Okay.
I realize that you have 72 hours to actually implement it, and we're only just a little over 24 hours into it. And so I presume that people are still working on
Good math for a reporter.
Implementation. Yeah, but I couldn't subtract. I couldn't tell you
Okay.
I don't know how many hours are left. But what is your understanding of is the department going to set out a list of criteria for what constitutes a bona fide relationship with an American entity or person, as the court has said?
So a lot of talk and a lot of questions about this term bona fide, and that was something that actually came from the Supreme Court. So as you correctly mentioned, we have a couple days still to work this out and get more information. So we will be looking to the Department of Justice to get more clarification on what a bona fide relationship will be.
Right, but do you expect that you will that you in your guidance to visa issuing posts will be laying out, okay, like a second cousin twice removed is not bona fide or is bona fide?
Right.
Or, a hotel reservation
I would
is a bona fide
anticipate that
relation?
we would have to give certainly some degree of explanation and a definition to our folks who are handling this overseas. Exactly what that terminology will look like, that we don't know yet, so that's why we'll continue to chat with the Department of Justice and our folks over there. People here are hard at work with Department of Justice and also, I believe, Homeland Security to try to figure out exactly what this term bona fide should mean and will mean, and then we'll get that information out to our folks across the world.
And do you have any idea of the time? I mean, I realize you have until Thursday,
Yeah.
but could it come earlier? I mean,
This is obviously an important matter and a big matter, and everybody wants to get this right. They want to see this implemented in an orderly fashion. And so in doing that, I think they'll probably take their time, as much time as they have, to make sure they get it right so that we can get that information and then get that out to our folks overseas. And we know that our people at the State Department have a lot of questions about this as well. Legitimate questions, just as all of you do too.